Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today I'm going to be talking about XSPA. The reason I'm making this video is a bunch of recommendations I got, interesting movement today, and I found some really interesting stuff about this one, especially its valuation that I'll mention closer to the middle of the video. I split this video into 3 parts: introduction, due diligence, and technical analysis. At any point in the video, if you'd like to drop me a like if you'd like this video, please do. Subscribe and leave notifications on because it helps me grow this channel. Let's jump right into it. XpresSpa Group. This one here had a lot of its own fair share of criticism throughout the entire time with COVID going on with the pandemic. They took a pivotal stance from XpresSpa to XpresCheck. And I'm going to be covering a bit of the recent news right after the presentation, which I have here. This presentation is from a month ago. Nonetheless, it really gives you a good insight about the company in general. So, moving on. There we go. It was founded in 2003, trades under XSPA. It holds over 60% of the US market share, with a 2019 annual sales of $48.5 million, with comp sales growth of 2.9%, operating at the time of 50 plus locations in 25 airports in the US, Amsterdam, and the Middle East. Spa offering include massage, nail care, spa, and travel-related retail. It's a $4.2 trillion global health and wellness industry with a $120 billion spa economy that is growing due to strong unit-level economics and rising consumer interest in health and wellness. Around 150,000 spa globally, employing 2.6 million people. Today's traveler prioritize quality, curation, and experience, with millennials spending nearly 25% of their disposable income on health and wellness. 23% of travelers are frequent flyers who have household income over 100,000. Now, they have 46 domestic stores, 25 domestic and international locations. So 46 domestic and 5 international, including Dubai and Amsterdam. Now, XpresCheck Pivot, which is the one I'm talking about in terms of the pivotal direction. Airport Spa shut down in March 2020 due to being deemed non-essential use. Chairman Bruce Springsteen comes up with an idea to convert their spa's location into COVID-19 testing sites, bring in medical director and other experts to create a plan. We already know a lot of these things. Now they offer COVID PCR and blood antibody tests with outside labs with a turnaround of 2 to 3 days, and now they offer the rapid molecular COVID test, which is the Abbott ID Now, on-site labs under 15 minutes. So, for instance, here's their XpresCheck in JFK. Here, expanding wellness centers. This is in Newark and in Boston. They have 30 large hubs. That is the market opportunities. 30 large hubs, 663 implantments total in 2019. Averaged of 22 million implantments annually. Averaged 30,000 employees. And for their medium hubs, 30 medium hubs, 150 million implantments total in 2019. Average 5 million implantments annually, and average 15,000 employees. XpresSpa already has a presence in 21 large hubs, US airports, and 4 medium hubs in the US airports. So they have no national policy, left to each state, air bridges, health apps, list goes on. So now moving on towards the latest news, because things get exciting. Okay? And aside from the offering that they dropped at us today at $170 per share, that is the current offering, and that is expiring on the 21st, December 21st, 2020. So, and a warrant purchase to 1 share of common price is $170. That is the combined of the share and the warrant, which basically means that they're selling a share for $1.70 plus the warrant additional to exercise whenever they want, up to 24 months from the issue date. That is expiring on the 21st. That really killed in the momentum today, but nonetheless, let's come up with an open mind on this and try to look into their news. It's a little bit textbook to drop an offering after a couple of good news, but let's come up with an open mind and continue on. XpresCheck testing centers kicked off on-site testing for selected United travel routes at Newark Liberty International Airport and Denver International Airport. So that is amazing news with the partnerships with United Airlines, because it helps travelers, it helps staff get tested on, and it brings on basically more business for them, and it boosts confidence, at least in the airline industry. And you would expect that after United Airlines, other airlines would also follow suit. Now, next thing here is something related to the previous one, is their opening of facilities in Denver International Airport, which opened yesterday. Now, they did also mention that they had the pop-up testing facility. That was on December 7th. So the facility is currently open on December 16th. Next thing is James Berry is now the Chief Financial Officer. And Scott Milford, the previous Chief Financial Officer, was promoted to Chief Operating Officer. So who is James Berry? I went on my favorite website, LinkedIn. So we get to see that he does have a bit of a background here in terms of Chief Financial Officer. Clear Choice MD Urgent Care in New England. He has almost 4 years of experience there, and a Vice President of Finance around 3 years in Urgent Care Centers of New England, and then Chief Operating Officer for 3 years in University Emergency Management Foundation. He has a Master of Business Administration in Peru University and University of Massachusetts as a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry. Next, what we have is XpresSpa Group appoints David Cowell to newly created Chief Technology Officer position. And I went on, as I always do, back to LinkedIn. Who is this person and what kind of experience they have? So, he is the founder and CEO of Theory Ventures Partners for 3 years now, based in Portland, Oregon. And then he is also an advisor full-time for Q5ID since March 2020, a board member for Vital Health since March 2020, and he was the SVP Engineering and Product Development Global Head of Products for Zoom, ZUME, an investor and advisor for Garden Bar by Evergreens from 2017 to 2019 for 2 years. He graduated from University of Delaware in 1998. Alright, cool stuff. Now comes to the very exciting things that I've found. So XSPA has a market cap of around 100.8 million. Now their net income is negative 81.9 million. Their sales is 18.9 million. It is considered as a small value. So when we look into their financials here, things a little bit look rough. It looks like they had a rough years and then better years, and things are mixed. But because they're taking so much of a pivotal stance, I wouldn't very much look into their balance sheet here. But take a quick look into their valuation. Price over earnings, they are at 0.49. The current SP500 is at 27.2. So you can get to see the XSPA from the sense of price over earning is incredibly undervalued. Price over book is 1.8. The average for SP500 is around 3.8, so it's doing better than the average. Price per sales is very close to the average of the SP500 and is around 2.1. Now, if you were to look into the XSPA for 5-year average, yes, price over sales is worse than the SP500's, but since the pivot, it looks better. Now, the big question comes into how are they going to be paying for all this? Now, before moving on to that question, I need you to go down below. Please subscribe and leave notifications on because only around 86.5% of you haven't subscribed while 12.8% have subscribed. And it would really mean a lot to me to see subscribers because it helps me keep motivated to push forward and bringing you this amazing content. Now comes to the question on how are they paying for all this? You know, they're opening up all these locations, they're opening up all these new testing locations, they're doing pivotal, they are really going all extreme. And the answer is offerings. $41.66 million in registered direct offering. And if we were to look into their financials, we get to see that their total liability is around $29 million. That was, $23 million. That's September 2020. So the biggest thing they're doing here is they're paying off their debt by using the market and throwing out direct offering. Now, this one here should theoretically eliminate all the debt they have. And so if they move forward with this, they should be, in terms of debt, net zero. And that makes things amazing. But the question is, will it gain momentum again for us stockholders? And here is where we come in towards the question, the technical analysis part. This chart is really painful, especially after it hit the $1.98 and it crashed all the way down to $1.31. But let's go on bit by bit. On a one-day perspective, everything looked sloppy, especially after today's move. Everything looked bearish, and it was on a downtrend, a really painful downtrend. But momentum has gained a little bit of traction from the day before. And we need to look a little bit into the 2-hour perspective because a lot of things happened today. On a 2-hour perspective, it is showing that it's a pullback, but take a look from the $1.31. It is slowly climbing back up, and moving averages do look now bullish. So on a 2-hour perspective, it looks bullish. Momentum is reversing back to where it's supposed to be. On a 1-hour perspective, it is looking a little bit like we might get a little bit more of a pullback. Now remember, $1.70. Like that is the direct offering. Currently, it's $1.38. So you might say that we are having it currently at a discount. So you do expect that the price probably will, price will probably recover. The question is whether it would see a pullback from here on. Next is the moving average bands. A lot of action here today and massive volume coming in. The moving average band is expected to trade $1.69 at the top, $1.38 in the bottom, and $1.54 in the middle. You get to see it doesn't really trade within the moving average band much, but we get to see this massive spike in volume. Next thing we have is the stochastic fast and stochastic slow. The stochastic slow is showing that there might be another leg for this. Stochastic fast is showing there might be a little bit of a pullback here at this level. And so you get to see that we might want to wait a couple of days or a day at least to see it balance out. So tomorrow, if we were to see the movement a bit to recover or push towards recovery, it might be some nice time to either average down or buy. Really, it could be a potential for another move there. $1.28 is the current support on the Fibonacci retracements. $1.93 is the current resistance, followed by $2.33, $2.66, $2.98, $3.45, and $4.03. Now, price line action will show us significant resistance lines and supports. Current support sits at $1.33, and then the current resistance is sitting at $1.50, followed by $1.63, followed by $1.70, followed by $1.79, followed by $1.89, and then we're jumping up to $2.07, and then up to $2.24. Not much supports there, as I did mention. I think $1.31 is your ultimate support at this level. It is a new bottom for this chart, so we might actually see a nice bounce back from here. Now, Ed, what do you think about this one? I'm really disappointed from their board members to drop an offering in terms of such good news where the recovery has started. And for them to drop it at $1.70, it really feels that, you know, they really pushed that PR just to get it to run and then drop a PR on them in terms of offering, especially midday. And so that is really disappointing from XSPA's point of view. Nonetheless, I do think that it probably will recover in a short term in terms of trading. In terms of investing, I'm not a fan of the chart because the chart shows continuous drop in value, especially even after the split. But in terms of evaluation, their valuation themselves show that they are undervalued. And so I'm puzzled myself. But in terms of trading, if you were to take a high risk position tomorrow, try to see where it stands, you might actually get to see buy it in and sell it off around $1.70. It could be a nice bounce. That is my trading ideology for this. Investing is a little bit hard to guess. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. You have a wonderful day.